And it's okay to say the wrong answer, you know?
And what do you think happened? What is what is the fear in what do you think? Why is this?
I think, especially since I teach teenagers mostly, I think there is this fear of looking stupid, right? Like they have this notion of I have to be cool all the time and I have to be right about everything I say, which I think is what makes it so challenging for especially parents, and adults, because they get very argumentative of like, it's my way or the highway, sometimes. And I think, they have this irrational fear that if they say something stupid, then they're not going to be welcome in the outer tribe, right? Like their friends are, is that fear of losing love, really, is what it is, of like our primitive brain thinks like if I get rejected, then I'm never gonna be loved, so I'm gonna be, extradicated, from the tribe. And it's like, losing friends is a huge it's a huge deal for teenagers, because they're finally, discovering themselves. They're finding their own tribe. They're finding their own path, away from their parents. And that irrational fear of saying remotely anything that could sound stupid would take them farther from that, because God forbid anyone would ever find out that I said something stupid in math tutoring class, And it's like, dude, nobody's ever gonna find out. Trust me, it's okay, especially not your friends, and yeah, I think there's so many factors, and I think a lot of it has to do with identity. Tony Robbins talks a lot about identity and how we have created, we have either given identities that we took upon ourselves, or we have created our own identities. And creating our own identity takes a lot more work, right? But a lot of times, especially when we're younger, we adopt these identities from other people tell us, right? If your parents or a teacher comes up to you when you're little and tells you, oh my gosh, you're so smart, you're gonna believe for the rest of your life that you're smart, right? If somebody comes up to you, especially somebody you admire, right, and you love, like a parent, comes up to you, it's like, why do you have to be so stupid? For the rest of your life, you're gonna believe that you're stupid. Like that becomes your identity. Oh, I guess I'm stupid. So from now on, I'm just gonna do the be, do, have, remember? So I am stupid, therefore I do stupid things. So I'm gonna have stupid results, for everything. And that's why it's so important that we create that awareness of like, wait, what do I want my identity to be? Right? Like, who am I really? And a lot of times, especially we get to the teenage years, we don't even know that we have these identities that we have created for ourselves of, I'm just, like what you said, I'm just not good at math,
Yeah,
and like,
I talked about this with somebody that did NLP, and he said, yeah, but you just say, you should say to yourself, I'm a math genius. And I said, no, you don't. Because if you do that, then you create the same, because then you're afraid to fail. Because then you're afraid to lose your identity. You should be, your identity should be a growing organism. Like I learn from my mistakes. I'm every time I get better. You should, if you identify with anything, it should be nothing that is solid, because you're either way. If it's, it will be always used against you. So I'm not a firm. I don't like so much the idea of making yourself something bigger, like I'm this genius, because then there is also like the not the fixed, but the other the fixed mindset, because then you want to withhold this identity, so you want to show your genius everywhere, so you're afraid to take risks, because that could compromise your identity of being a genius. And a genius should be somebody that really, try and is not afraid to fail. So I don't know how to explain this, but there's this little
You
thing.
explained it very well. I think
Yeah.
you explained it very well. I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. Keep going.
Yeah, that's really my passion, because I think, it's easy to get to, you're sabotaging yourself one way or the other. I'm not good at this, because then then if I make it, then you try to how you say that, protect yourself, or you try to make it safe. Or if I say I'm not good at this, then it don't matter if I fail, or I say I'm good at this because then I believe in myself more. Either way, it's not really aligned. So to create, to find out where you are, your identity, those identities that are not you, like I'm not a mad person, or I'm ugly, or I'm fat, or whatever you say to yourself that doesn't make sense. And then don't say the total opposite because you want to get the balance right, but try to just get in the center, because I see so many people just want to, I found out that I'm like this, so I'm like this, but then it's like your teacher parent
Dynamic.
yeah, that dynamic. When you find out, oh, I'm always the victim, then I want to be but no, that's also not the way. You should try to get it more level. So, but I think in the beginning you have to get the balance for saying that, no, I'm not stupid. I'm really actually, I can also be a genius, but don't, make it like that, because I call it, I think Mo Gaudat called that the arrogance cycle. In Dutch is the arrogance cycle. That when you really manifest something, you have fear, and then you have to debate for it, and you find out that you find a proof that you are capable of something, then you are so happy that you manifested that becomes your reality, and you don't even want to check more. So for be able to really grow, you have to be always open for in a new situation to learn and to see what is a new situation. Is that what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it 100%. And that reminded me of something that Brooke Castillo talked about once when she was talking about coaching. She actually started as a nutrition coach first, right? A weight loss coach. Yeah. And she said that a lot of times she finds people that have this mindset of, I hate my body, right? And she says that even though the goal is to say, I love my body, right? That should be the goal, because, your body, at least for me, I believe that it is a gift, right? Yeah. Like you did nothing to earn your body, and you should be treated as a gift. That's my perspective on it. But she says that going from I hate my body to I love my body is too shocking, right, for a lot of people, and unattainable. Is unrealistic, right? You're not gonna go from I hate my body to I love my body in one sentence, no matter how many times you repeat it to yourself, right? So she said that a good strategy that has worked for her and for her clients is to go from I hate my body to I have a body. To simply make a neutral, truthful statement about your body that does not necessarily involve an emotion, right? Like, I have a body is a neutral statement. It's not good, it's not bad, right? You don't hate it, you don't love it, nothing. You just have one. And that is true. You have a body, right? That is inarguable. So she says that she tries to get people to get to that point first. Because once you get to the point of I am able to make a neutral, unbiased observation, about myself, such as I have a body, no adjectives whatsoever, then you can pile on that and start with, I have an average body, or I have a body to take care of, or I have a body, you know what I'm saying? And kind of like pile up on that so that you can develop that love for your body, as opposed to try to force it, like you said, to go from here to here with no rope in between. Like you need to gradually get to that level.
I think this one is tricky, because I really like the one I love my body. I just don't like the one when you say I'm I am so proud of my super body, something like that.
Right, right.
That is like
I'm an Adonis, or
huh?
I'm
Yeah.
an Adonis, or I'm
Yeah,
a
yeah,
Venus,
that
or
is
whatever. Yeah.
but I love my body. I think it's nothing. I mean, love is like this word that I think you can't go wrong with. I love my brain. I love my whatever. But to say I'm, I'm this stud or I'm this chick magnet or whatever, it's like I don't know. I just came up with it, but it's like you should like from I'm ugly to no I'm the most handsome guy in school whatever.
Hmm.
No, don't do that.
Right.
But to I love myself. That is really. I think you can prove that. I think you even can find how you say that? Yeah, proof. I like the way I look. I like my smile. I like my eyes. I like my ear.
Yeah.
Whatever. You don't have to really. I love the way I smile. I love the way I move. Whatever. You can find proof on that. While I'm the most handsome guy in school, how you want to get proof from that? Then you need to do ask quite like a poll, like
Right.
right,
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, though. I think that you have to be very careful, like what you're saying, with where does that statement come from? Like, is that an internal statement or is that an external statement? Is that a statement that needs to be supported by the group?
That's
Because
what I meant.
because like you said, I'm the most handsome guy in the school or whatever. That is not, like, for that to become a fact, everybody else has to agree on that, right? I love my body. Nobody has to agree with that. That is my choice, So no, I love that. I love that. But yeah, it's so tricky sometimes, and one thing I've learned a lot with Tony Robbins too is the whole language thing, right? Like, there is a big difference when you say I'm tired versus I'm exhausted, or versus I like this and I love this, right? Or, that person is mean versus that person's an asshole, right? Or they're evil, like that's a very different, and sometimes we think like, oh, tomato, and it's like, no, something as simple as I've trained my students who have like any neuro, what is the word? Like ADHD, for example. Right? A lot of times they say something like, I am ADHD. And I'm like, you are not ADHD. You have ADHD, but you are not ADHD.
Well, you know what here in the Netherlands we have Edwin de Salai. He said, you don't have ADHD, you do ADHD.
Okay.
So it's nothing you have considered, you just sometimes act that. So it's like nothing that is solid. It's just a way of acting, and I really resonate with that. Like, you do things, so you're not that, you just do things. But I'm not big with, now you say the be do have. I'm not sure if have or be or do is where is the difference, but it's interesting. I'm not sure, but I think the when you do something, then you know that you don't. I don't know. I think I'm now confused. What do you think?
Well, no, that's a great point, but I think, like, you may be. Well, the thing is, like, the
B is not good. I'm sure of that. The B is not. But what is? But I have this this illness, or I do this illness.
The thing I think is a responsibility thing for me. So when I have ADHD, it's not something that I necessarily choose, right? When I do ADHD, it's something that I choose, because everything I do, I choose to do.
Yeah.
Right.
So you can change it. I think that's the point, that when you say I do this, then I also can try to change it. But if I say I have this, then it's like, I can do nothing about it. I have this. So your whole you don't have a choice anymore, and that can make you the victim. Well, I'm
Right.
not saying that is not that it can be challenging to have it. It's just that when you say, well, sometimes I do this, because you don't have it all the time. Even when you have
Right.
ADHD, you're not all the time that way. Sometimes you're not. So you say, yeah, sometimes I do this. Maybe it gives you more power to you. I think that's what he means to say.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see it from that perspective. I just think that it could also, like, if you're not careful, it could also be or sound borderline blaming.
Yeah.
Kind of like, well, you do ADHD, like that's what you're
Also,
doing.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
choosing to do it,
yeah,
as
yeah, yeah.
opposed to, well, it's just the way that my brain works. Now, I do think that, especially with the awareness that we have created recently, there's many ways to cope with it, and I think, to me, especially when it comes to mental illnesses or disorders and stuff like that, I think that we still have a long ways to go to accept it as just any other illness, right? Like, when somebody comes to you and they have diabetes, right? You don't say, oh no, you do diabetes, right? No, you have diabetes, right? But you also don't say you are diabetes, right? Like, that doesn't make any sense, and it's like, well, I have this, but how do I deal with it? At least that's the perspective that I choose. But I can totally see it, like you said, how it turns you into the victim, because, well, it's something that I have. It's something that I can't do anything about, But
I'm curious to know if because I think that when you really believe that you have more power over yourself, that you can accomplish really a lot of things. So I think it can be beneficial to say, well, I'm doing this. And now I'm choosing to do some other things, but I'm not sure, if only when it works for you. So I can't say it over another person, but for myself, I can see myself trying to believe something to be true. Like I'm doing, like the muscle thing. I don't have the muscles yet, but I do train, like, to be that muscle guy. So it's like the doing comes before the having, right?
Right. But
if you want to change, then you want to do different things.
Yeah, but I think there are also things that we don't necessarily have because we do anything about it. Like, I don't know, I have 2 legs. I didn't do anything to earn my legs, like, yeah, I am human, but what did I do? I grew, I guess, to have legs, but I didn't. There's some things that are just intrinsic of you that you don't necessarily have to do anything to earn, right? So that whole be, do, have, I think I don't necessarily believe that it's a universal concept for absolutely everything, right? Like, because, like, people who get cancer, for example, right? Yes. A lot of times, not always, obviously, but a lot of times it's because they did something, right? Like unhealthy diet or exposed to radioactivity or whatever the case may be, not necessarily fault of their own, but, like, it's something that they did or were exposed to, right? That made them develop cancer. However, that doesn't mean that their identity was prior to that, I am a cancerous person, or I am propense to cancer. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not necessarily not everything that we get to have, or that necessarily, because there are things that do happen to us, right, that we don't have control over. Like having a disorder like ADHD, for example, is just something that kind of happens to you, right? Like, there's nothing that you can do to quote unquote earn the ADHD. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just born with it for most people, right? Like you're just born with it. So there are things that I don't think that the be do have principle always applies to, because there are things that you just don't get to a choice in the matter. You know what I'm saying?
And I really understand that part. And I still think that there are a lot of things that we are not. I think there could be more things that we have because of our behavior, and with change of behavior we can change. There are a lot of placebo effects and whatever to that already shown that if you do act different, that can also have an effect. So I think that believing in can really make something happen. But I don't want to get too spiritual, but I really think that we have more power over ourselves than we tend to realize, and especially with knowledge, or with to be open to I don't have that mathematical brain, or I'm not, those things, analytical brain. I'm sure that there is a difference between people. Some are more easy to understand things, or are more easy to but I think in ADHD is the same. Like when you really know where it comes from, where your triggers are, what do you do? I mean, and how you can live with it. I'm sure that you can make more out of yourself when you really, when you're not just putting it like a label, like, but I have this and I can do nothing about it. So it's like that way.
Right. Well, I think we agree on that, and I think what I'm trying to say at least is that even if there is something that you can't do anything about, in the terms of like, it's not like I can just get rid of ADHD, right? But and I think this is where we would probably agree on, is that the meaning I give to that, the identity